What's up, everyone? This is Tyrelle, Audain, your handsome cricket rockstar, welcoming you to another episode of the Cricket Rockstar Plus show. And without further ado, let's get on with it because we have tons of World Cup football and some cricket to cover. But we must start off with some sad news from the world of cricket. By now, you know, ladies and gentlemen, Shapoor Zadran, the former Afghanistan left-arm fast bowler, who was one of the most recognized voices of Afghanistan's cricket between the rise in the 2000s and the 2010s, died one day shy of his 39th birthday following a prolonged illness. Shapul played 44 ODIs and 36 T20s for the Afghanistan team between 2009 and 2020 and took a total of 80 international wickets. He did shine especially in the 2015 50 over World Cup, which took place in Australia and New Zealand. Incidentally, that was his only World Cup he played. He ended up as Afghanistan's leading wicket taker with 10 wickets, while he was also a part of the four World T20 competition campaigns with the Afghanistan team from 2010 to 2016, taking 9 wickets in 9 matches. Shapul was widely known among contemporaries for his generosity and kindness and was a mentoring figure to several young Afghanistan players, including Rashid Khan, former Afghanistan captain Asghar Stanazai Afghan, and several other prominent cricketers who were always in touch with Shapul, especially when he was going through his treatment. When Afghanistan toured India just last month, Captain Hashmatullah Shahidi, head coach Richard Pybus, and players Kes Ahmed and Zia Sharif visited him in a hospital in Delhi. In a statement on social media, the Afghanistan Cricket Board stated, with profound grief and deep sorrow, the Afghanistan Cricket Board mourns the passing of former Afghanistan fast bowler Shapoor Zadran. Shapoor Zadran was one of the foundation-laying figures of Afghanistan cricket, whose dedication, passion, and unwavering commitment played a vital role in the rise and development of the game in Afghanistan. He was among the proud cricketers who stood at the heart of Afghanistan's early cricketing journey and helped build the path that brought Afghan cricket to the international stage. Throughout his career, Shapul served Afghanistan cricket with honor, courage, and pride. His contributions and achievements will always remain an important part of the history of Afghanistan cricket, and his efforts in the service of the national team will never be forgotten. Beyond his achievements on the field, Shapoor Zadran was a true source for inspiration for many Afghan cricketers and for cricket followers across the world. His fighting spirit, determination, and love for the game gave hope to many and encouraged a generation to dream bigger and believe in the future of Afghanistan cricket. The Afghanistan Cricket Board extends its heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the Zadran family, his friends, loved ones, former teammates, and the entire Afghanistan cricket community. His loss was deeply felt, and his memory will forever remain in the lives and the hearts of the people of Afghanistan and the cricketing world. We'll get back to cricket a bit later on in the show as we head across to the FIFA Men's World Cup round of 16 game between Egypt and Argentina, which I must say was very controversial as Argentina, who were 11 minutes away from crashing out of the World Cup, snatched an unlikely 3 goals to 2 victory over Egypt. The Pharaohs, they struck first in the 14th minute when Yasir Ibrahim found the back of the net. While they were leading 1 goal to 0 in the second half, Egypt's Mustafa Zico scored what appeared to be their second goal. However, following a lengthy VAR review, the goal was overturned because of a foul that was committed by Egypt on Lisandro Martinez, which was detected much earlier in the build-up sequence. Now, let me tell you all something, ladies and gentlemen, regarding that foul on Lisandro Martinez. There was never any foul whatsoever. The referee should have played. There was a little interference. However, the referee should have allowed the game to go on and should have allowed that goal to call. That is why I'm saying right now, ladies and gentlemen, this was a horror call from VAR to disallow Egypt's second goal. And I also would like to know who in the F that the FIFA referees are giving the referees or should I say, who inside of FIFA is giving those stupid effing referees the license to roll it back? It happened with Iran in the group stage, which led to them crashing out, and it also occurred with Senegal in their round of 32 match against Belgium, which costed them a spot in this particular round of 16. And now it's happened with Egypt again. The goal overall should have stood. No question about that. Then the referee could have always have gone back and booked the player. But to disallow the goal which should have sent Egypt through was absolutely criminal. And they have a right to be outraged by this. However, Zico did, however, score again and double their lead against the runner play, I should say, in the 67th minute with a wonderful goal. Let me just say that. That was a wonderful header by Zico to get that second goal. While the Argentines were facing a 2-goal deficit and on the brink of crashing out, the South Americans refused to park the bus and instead pressed high up on the field. Christian Romero pulled one back in the 79th minute with a clinical finish. And then 4 minutes later, the legendary Lionel Messi leveled the scoreboard for the Argentines with a 83rd minute screamer. Then the biggest flashpoint occurred in the 2nd minute of stoppage time, right before Argentina's so-called winning goal. And everybody was upset by this call, even the Egyptian players. They were vehemently appealing for a penalty after Alexis McAllister pulled down Hamid Fati inside the box. And that was a clear penalty right there. A complete blunder made by the referee. Then play was allowed to continue without the referees checking it via VAR. And Argentina immediately countered attack where Enzo Fernandez netted a dramatic late winner. Now, that late winner should have been disallowed because from that previous angle, there was a penalty and the referee absolutely refused to check the VAR. Then the referee, in that same particular second half into early stoppage time, failed to give out a single card until the 2nd minute of stoppage time, right in the 92nd minute, where he proceeded to hand out 6 yellow cards and 1 red card exclusively to Egypt, and especially to the head coach, Hussam Hussein, or should I say Hussam Hassan. Overall, let me just say this right now, ladies and gentlemen. This was highway robbery committed by FIFA and VAR with all these several bad calls, and amid all of the stupid chaos, Hussam Hassan did cross his arms with an X shape, the official FIFA gesture to report racist abuse on the pitch. And clearly you could see there was abuse on the pitch. And then after the game, he nearly went after an Argentine fan who was holding an Israelite fan, and rightly so, because everybody hates those freaking Zionists. Let me just say that. And instead, and this has been happening over and over throughout the World Cup. It happened in most of the Mexico games where the Mexican supporters were yelling out the homosexual through the puto word, and then racist abuse was reported on the pitch too, but yet still FIFA refused to take action. And then it happened yesterday to ice show speed, and it's happened again. Instead of the referees halting the game to trigger the anti-racism protocol or the 3-step protocol, which should have been implemented, the referee booked the coach for protesting. While Argentina may have won this match, FIFA and VAR totally freaking messed up big time with all these biased decisions. And in front of Infantino and co. Now, there is conspiracy theories that they want all the African teams out and for Argentina to go back to back. We have seen this happen before. Or should I say, let me also go one step further before I go on to the next game. Argentine football fans are the worst toxic sports fans in the world. Same can be said about Indian cricket fans. Well, another time for that for the Indian fans to say the least. Imagine both sets of supporters, the Argentine football fans and the Indian cricket supporters, attacking and abusing fans of rival teams when their beloved teams do win matches, or when officials who are in favoritism of them trying to reach the next round or even further commit highway robberies and officiating / umpiring errors in big games. We've seen this happen numerous times. And I must go one step further and also point out that this afternoon myself, I was subjected to taunts and racist abuse from these so-called supporters on social media. It's embarrassing, it's unacceptable, and it's a disgrace. It's a freaking disgrace to say the least. Argentina, just like those white MAGA trash in the US and those genocidal Israelites, they're a bunch of nasty cowards. They're a disgrace to society. I'm still ferociously upset by all these bias calls in the game, and it is going to take some time for me to get over this nonsense. But nevertheless, the other round of 16 game with Switzerland and Colombia didn't have any controversy one bit. It was a very clean match. Switzerland and Colombia did play out to a 10-0 stalemate after 120 minutes of extra time, which culminated in a penalty shootout where the Swiss edged the Colombians 4-3 to qualify for the quarterfinals for the first time since 1954. Yes, after 72 long years, Switzerland are into the last 8 of the World Cup. Now, I must say both sides did play brilliant football for the whole 120 minutes. But again, Colombia, when it comes to penalties, they have faltered. And we're going to get to that right away because when it came down to the spot kicks, Granit Xhaka, Ziki Amundinde, Cedric Iten, and Ruben Vasquez all converted from 12 yards for Switzerland. As for Colombia, Juan Fernando Cuaterio, Jamitan Campas, and Luis Diaz all scored theirs, but there was crucial misses from Davidson Sanchez and Cucho Hernandez, which saw the South Americans crash out. It was a great game of football, to say the least. One team has to go through while one team has to sadly exit. Both sides, and then let me tell you something. Just like with the Copa America, or should I say, just like with the Copa America 2021, where Colombia failed to defeat Argentina in penalties, the same similar incident happened today with Switzerland. They were failing to convert those from 12 yards into the net. But before I move on to something else, these are the quarterfinalists. France will face Morocco in the first quarterfinal on Thursday. Friday, Norway versus England. Then on Saturday, Argentina versus... Well, let me just run through it very quickly. So these are the quarterfinalists for the World Cup. France versus Morocco on Thursday. Then Norway versus England. Belgium versus Spain. That is on Saturday. Norway, England is on Friday. And on Sunday, Argentina versus Switzerland. So the World Cup is now officially in the back end. It started with 48, down to 32, down to 16, and we're now down to the last 8. Moving away from World Cup action now, ladies and gentlemen, it has been weeks since I last reviewed any cricket for quite some time. So let me give you all a bit of a double treat for all the die-hard cricket fans, because I made a promise I'll get back to cricket. The West Indies-Sri Lanka Test Series wrapped up today with the men in maroon winning a Test Series against Sri Lanka after a gap of 23 years. Incidentally, the last time West Indies won a series against Sri Lanka in Test was under the leadership of Brian Lara in 2003. In the first Test at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, the West Indies hit the visitors, or should I say, posted a monstrous 620 for the loss of 9 declared on the back of Amir Jangu's brilliant maiden Test match double 100, where he scored 223. In Sri Lanka's first innings on the opening day, they were actually bowled out for 308, and in their second innings on Sunday, they were dismissed cheaply for 101. West Indies ended up winning the Test match by innings and 217 runs to go 1-up in the 2-match series. The second and final Test concluded today with the match ending in a draw. Sri Lanka posted 549 for 9 declare. Lahiru Mendes scored 180 odd. And in their second innings, they declared on 251 for 9, setting a target of 302. The West Indies, on the other hand, in their first innings were bowled out for 490, following hundreds from Justin Graves, who went on to make 180, and Shai Hope with 112. In West Indies' second innings, chasing 302 and with time running out and with bad weather looming, they did finish on 109 without a wicket, with half centuries from John Campbell and Brandon King, which ended up securing a stalemate. What was so refreshing in this Test series was to see the batters staying out there for long periods of time, because we have seen over and over these disgraceful batting collapses, which has been happening over and over for years. What is so refreshing to see the lack of batting collapses in this series. I know the next test series against Pakistan is going to be a bit tough, but it might be easier for them because from what I understood, Pakistan, they announced their team for the test matches and most of their senior bowlers have been dropped from the team. We will get to that in a subsequent video, but to see the West Indies batters batting for long periods of time and getting those big hundreds, for example, Amir Jangu in his second test match, and he's been toiling hard to get into the West Indies test setup for quite some time. He scored a remarkable double hundred when he made those 33 runs. Keep in mind, as I just said, he's been knocking on the door for quite some time after scoring all of those runs for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force on the 4-day scene. Then Roston Chase has found himself back in form after a long time, scoring a brilliant 150 odd, which happens to be his highest test match score. Never forget that. And then don't forget, in the second test match, Shai Hope's 112 and Justin Greaves 180, aka those two big hundreds in the deciding test. Those hundreds kept the Sri Lankans at bay for more than 2 days, and that was one of the reasons why the game went, and that is one of the reasons why the game did end up in a draw. And there was also some milestones in the bowling department. Jaden Seals getting his 100th test wicket, and Kemar Rhodes, who didn't play the second test because of a hamstring problem, he got his 300th test wicket in the first test match. Incidentally, those two milestones happened in the first and the second test match, respectively. The bowling attack, as I said, has been doing well for quite some time. The batting department is finally waking up from its sukkon after a long time. The question that's got to be asked, can they be consistent? That is a long time question mark. The next series against Pakistan is going to be a bit tough because Pakistan, we all know they have a strong batting lineup, but their bowling department is now depleted because they've dropped Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali, and now they've dropped the 40-year-old Numan Ali, which I will talk about in a subsequent video, as I promised. But we're wrapping up the show by discussing T20 madness. So as you all may be aware by now, England have taken an unassailable 2-0 series lead in the 5-match series after the first fixture was washed out at Chesterley Street, where India scored almost 190 odd runs. But in the second T20, India posted 190 for the loss of 7, but England chased it down to win the game by 4 wickets, with Jacob Bettel's heroics earning him the player of the match honours. Then in the third T20 was absolute riot. England posted 201 for the loss of 7, courtesy Phil Saul's rapid 70 or 44 deliveries. And then they skittle out India for their lowest ever total in all T20 internationals. 76 all out in less than 12 overs, 11.4 overs to win by a massive 125 runs, with Jofra Archer grabbing 3 wickets. Incidentally, it wasn't just Jofra Archer alone. Everybody played a part in England's bowling department to secure a thumping victory. Essentially, England bowlers, they kept a clean sheet throughout the power play, which led to the Indians being under so much pressure and in the red zone. That's going to do it for this episode of the Cricket Rockstar Plus show, where we cover everything cricket and football. Until the next time we get together, and I promise you all in tomorrow's video, we will run through the team selections for the West Indies New Zealand series and also Pakistan's test team for its tour to the Caribbean and England, which is this month and next month, respectively. Until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyrelle Audain, your handsome cricket rockstar, telling you all to be good, be cool, stay frosty. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Take care. Bye for now.